Okay, so as the title probably says, this is a Honda Civic 2001 7th generation 1.7 litre GLi model. And today we're going to change the spark plugs. So the first thing you should do is take this cover off here. This cover here is purely just for show. Just makes the engine look a little bit prettier. So you just turn these things with your screwdriver and voila, it's off. Now what I usually like to do is then take this now and go and clean it, get a bit of detergent and water and clean this up, so when you put it back on it looks nice and pretty. Now next thing to do is we've got to take these little cap things off here. So I'm just going to go get my my sockets and we'll get back to it. Alright, so I got my sockets, and now before we take these ignition coils out, we need to disconnect the plugs going to each of them. There's a little release clip here you need to grab, push in, and as you pull it out, but it's a little difficult to get your finger in there. So I'm just going to get these feeler gauges, push the plug in, the little switch in, and we'll just pull the plug out. Okay, that's one. There's the other one. Now this one should just come out hopefully. Nope, it's going to be a little bit difficult. And okay, and then the fourth one. Okay, so now we've pulled the plugs, we're going to start undoing the nuts. Okay, so the plugs are disconnected now, and we will simply undo each nut on the ignition coil. Now the ignition coil itself should just lift straight out. Okay, there we go. Now to get the spark plug out, you're going to need quite a long extension to get right down there. So hopefully this is long enough, and it is. Crack that, and it's tight. These spark plugs haven't been done in a while, and so they're a bit tight, but it's coming now. I think some people put some anti-seize compound on your spark plug thread. I don't think that was done in this particular case. Okay, so let's see if we can get it out. There we go. Whoa. So it's been quite a while since these spark plugs are done, and they definitely need doing. Alright, so I'm going to go get the new spark plug now. Now the spark plug recommended for this car under Australian conditions is the NGK ZFR6J11. If you lived in another part of the world, it possibly is a different plug, so you need to check that. So we'll take the spark plug out of the packet. And what we're going to do now is we're going to gap the plug. Now it's recommended that the gap for this particular plug is 1 millimeter. So I got my feeler gauges here. Now all of these feeler gauges add up to 1 mil, which makes it nice and easy. I'm simply just going to slide it in. If you crush them together, and it's a little bit tight, you want it to be a snug fit, you don't want it to be loose, you don't want it to be too tight. So I think that's going to be okay. It's possibly just a tiny little bit too tight. Alright, so we'll install the plug now and keep going. Okay, so it's always recommended that you hand wind in the new plug, so not to cross thread. So we'll try and feed it back in. And we'll very gently just start turning it. And if you feel a little bit of tension, it gets a bit tight, that means you're not threading properly. This is winding in okay. We'll do it up hand tight. Okay, almost there. It's turning nicely, so I know that it's going in properly. Okay, so that's tightened up. Now, according to the Honda manual, you need to torque the spark plug to 18 newton meters. So I've got my torque wrench here. Make sure it's going the right way. And let's torque this. So we'll turn. Probably should have hand wound it a little bit more in, but that's the way it goes. And the torque wrench should click when it reaches the 18 newton meters. So we'll just keep going. Till we hear the click. Should be very soon now. There we go. There it goes. Okay, so that's now torqued at 18 newton meters, and it is ready to go. So I'm going to install the ignition coil back. Put our screw back on. Oops. Get a socket wrench, and we'll just quickly nip this bolt up. This doesn't have to be very tight. And install the plug back in and click it back in. There we go. Alright, so that's one done. I've got 3 more to go. Yeah, so I'm up to the last plug now, and I'm having difficulty getting it out with the socket, so I've got this little plastic tube here. I'm just going to try and slide it down onto the top of the spark plug, and then that should allow me just to pull it out. Alright, so I'm going to keep going and finish this job off. Okay, so all the plugs have been changed, and I'm just plugging the ignition coils back in again. Make sure everything's in its place. Okay, that's all done. And just get your cover again, back over the top, and we'll lock these in. Okay, so that's how you change spark plugs on a 2001 Honda Civic, and thanks for watching.